Hey you guys, Trisha Turner here. It's Tuesday, 12 o'clock Central. I got Blake Weaver on with me today, and I'm super excited because if you guys don't know who Blake is, you need to. This is Anything But Average, Achieving Success in Life. We believe everyone has a story. We believe everyone is successful in one form or another. And so we like to bring that to the world, bring you guys some positivity, some pro tips, some strategies to help grow your business. And Blake is this major producer in real estate. And I wanted him to share a little bit of his story. We just did an event. He was at it. He's got one coming up. So we're going to talk a little bit about all of that. So thank you, Blake, for being here.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Blake, for everyone to get a little bit of context about you, can you share where you are in the world, how long you've been in real estate, and your production for 2021?
Yeah, of course. So I'm located in Lafayette, Louisiana, South Central, directly south of the bottom of the state. Production wise, last year I did 78 transactions and just shy of 14 million in sales, gross sales. And I've been in business I'm on year 4 this year.
Year 4. Okay. Yep. So that's a pretty big freaking number. Are you a solo agent or do you run a team or are you on a team?
So I do run a team. I just started a team. It'll be a year, this month. Okay. Right when I first started with EXP last January, my main focus was to come to EXP to start a team to be able to scale my business. And it's been a work in progress. But those numbers that I just told you were my numbers, solo agent. My team, that last year, 2021, I'd have to look back at the numbers, but I want to say the team itself did 6-7 million. And I would say 30-35 transactions for, we had got the team up to 6 people. And right now we're currently at 4.
Perfect. But that's awesome. Because here's the deal. Like I was telling everybody, 40% of the real estate agents haven't sold a home since COVID. Blake sold 78 homes by himself last year. So maybe you guys need to be paying attention to what you're going to hear him talk about today. First of all, 4 years in the business, that's freaking amazing. And some of that was during COVID. So where did you start with which company?
So I started off right out the gates. I was part-time with Keller Williams.
Okay.
I started with them for about maybe 5 or 6 months. I was still in the oil field and I was slowly transitioning my salary paying job to real estate. And eventually after about 5 or 6 months, I was making the same amount of money in real estate per month as my salary. So I basically resigned from the oil field, went full-time with real estate. I actually left Keller Williams and went to EXP.
Wow.
And so I went to EXP and then I realized that it wasn't a good fit for me at the time. I was still struggling to find my way. I felt I needed a little bit more. I felt I needed an office space. And so I left there and I got asked to go to a small boutique brokerage here in Lafayette with a lot of top producers. And I went and I sold 52 deals by myself that year, no assistant, everything by myself. And then I reevaluated my business at the end of last year. And I realized I'm like, okay, I don't want to sell 52 houses by myself for the rest of my life. I need to figure out how to scale. And so that's whenever I linked up with our upline, Michael Reese, Jay Kinder, and got their full support. And then made the transition to EXP, started a team, had a very successful year last year. And we have some big goals for this year.
What are you thinking for this year? Give me some numbers.
This year, I'm going to try to do 100 transactions.
That's right. You're going to do it.
I will do 100 transactions and 20 million in sales.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm like listening to everything that you said. So I study numbers like all the time. So the National Association of Realtors put out their numbers for 2020 and it showed an average agent's annual income it used to be $43,000 a year, and then it went down to $39,000. So keep that in mind. 2020, National Association of Realtors, so that's national, their
Mhm.
average annual income of $39,000. That's ridiculous. I don't know how anyone can live on that kind of an income. You just sat here and said you've only been in this for 4 years. You transitioned out of the oil industry where you had a full paying job. And within just a few months, you were full time in real estate and already surpassed your income. That's incredible. So tell me, I want everyone to know, how did you get going so fast in such high numbers? What would you attribute some of that to?
So, and number one, I tried to pay attention to whenever I was at Keller Williams. There were a lot of talkers, and it's no disrespect to Keller Williams. I mean, they're a great brokerage. However, at the market that I was in, the people there, they did a lot of talking, and we did a lot of training, and we'll train ourselves broke if we let us, and
Yeah.
we can't do that.
Mm-mm.
And so what I did was I took a step back and started paying attention to the top producers in the market, and I'll try to figure out, okay, what are they doing? And I just tried to keep it simple. I paid attention to the top producers. I realized that they were not going to these trainings. I realized they were not going to these meetings, and they were not in the office. They were out in the streets hustling, making calls, doing what their normal procedure is of the day. And I figured out that was number one that I needed to do. And then number two is I found a great mentor. That's whenever I linked up with Coach Burt. Around that time, I went to a mastermind. I was told to invest in myself by a top producer. He said, just invest in yourself and it's going to pay off. So what I did was I took a step back, and I realized, okay, the mastermind that I was on, that I went to, of all the speakers there, Coach Burt spoke to me, and I hired him as my coach. So that was number two: hire a coach, but not just any coach, a coach that has a proven record with a lot of credibility. And he took my numbers from 26 transactions a year to 52 my second year, just by following his systems, just by believing in myself, trusting in myself, staying real disciplined in my normal procedures every day. Um, and that was my top two things that really hit my my rhythm without even buying any leads. I wasn't even buying leads at that time, you know.
Yeah.
And just marketing yourself and establishing your brand. That's another big thing that I think a lot of realtors in their first year make a real big mistake on, is they don't establish their identity.
Mm-hmm.
And my brand is real simple. I'm black and white are my colors. My logo is very, modern, and it's something that I think that I like, and I get a lot of big compliments on it. And I try to brand myself. I'm surprised I'm not wearing it today. Usually I wear my logo on my shirt. And if
Me
I'm
too.
wearing a hat, I wear my hat on my logo.
Yep.
I used to have on my old truck, I used to have my back glass with my sticker,
Oh yeah.
And it's just little things like that really make you stand out from the competition, because at the end of the day, you want to be in everybody's face as much as possible without being a pest.
Yep. So on what you said right there, it's funny. So you guys, I didn't know Blake 2 years ago. Maybe it was 2 years ago that I met you. Think it was 2 years, probably?
I think it was a year ago is whenever I first got introduced to you from Woods Davis.
Yeah. So here's like how ironic this whole world is. So he mentioned a coach. He mentioned Coach Burt. So when I switched over, I left my own independent brokerage. I am a broker, had my own thing going on, was never thinking about making a move. I met Jay Kinder and Michael Reese at an event that they came at and spoke in 2017. Immediately was like, holy crap, I need to be around these guys. They got it going on and they're freaking cool as crap. Joined their organization. And then a year and a half later, made the switch over to EXP, but not because I was unhappy, but because, again, they made the switch over to EXP. I knew and liked and trusted them. I knew they would never misguide me. And Jay Kinder said the most profound thing. He's like, Trisha, you have a blockbuster and this is Netflix and it's going to shut you down. And so immediately when I met them in 2017, my life was never the same. It opened all kinds of doors. It opened all kinds of methodologies. It opened all kinds of everything. Vision expands. Michael Reese is very deep. And so it's like you can't help but learn when you spend time with him. And then Woods Davis. And so Woods is like a brother to me. We became immediate friends, love him to death. And so part of my favorite thing about being with EXP is the collaboration. And so, like a year ago, Woods calls me and he's like, hey, I need you to talk to this guy. He's in Louisiana. He's killing it. He's like us. He's faith based, and y'all would be really good to collaborate together. I'm gonna hook y'all up. Will you call him? And I was like, of course I will. That's how Blake and I met. And now, fast forward, it's now 2022. Coach Burt, who he's talking about, I started coaching with just a few months ago, and we did an event last week. And Blake comes to the event, and Coach Burt announces that he coaches Blake. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even know that. How did I not know that?
It's a small world, and it's crazy whenever you link up with the right people. You start to see a trend, and the top producers, they're all doing the same thing that we're doing. There's not a secret sauce that one is doing more than the other. This is a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lifestyle. You got to enjoy what you do, and you have to have a passion for helping people to be successful, in my opinion.
Well, and in mine too. And I like how you said you didn't want to continue doing 52 transactions every year for the rest of your life. Most people, unfortunately, and I've been doing this for a long time, I didn't really realize the mentality of most agents until I had my own company and was around a lot of them all the time, like the average agents. They don't think like that. They don't think like you and I. They're the 95 percenters, they're the followers, and they don't really think long range, like, what do I want to be doing 10 years from now? What do I want to be doing when I'm 60 or 70 years old? Do you really want to be going on listing appointments or going driving around with buyers and showing 50 houses? I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't. It's like, I want to get into multifamily. I got big plans, And
Sure.
I believe that God puts certain people in each other's lives to help each other and to collaborate like we're doing, because I tell people all the time, what if you get sick or, God forbid, you can't work for 6 months. You're not out doing listing appointments. You're not out working with buyers. Then what? What's your strategy then?
Yeah, it's very true. Same thing with me. I got, I've always set 2-year goals since I was 18 years old. I didn't always hit them, but I set them.
Yeah.
And it basically, for me, it works for me because, it allows me to look forward to something, that I have to aim for. It's basically my own little accountability. And then what's the cool thing is, the first time I linked up with Woods and Mike, one of the first calls we made was a strategy call for my year. I had never even did that in my own business prior to coming to EXP the second go around with Woods, because I would wing everything.
Yep.
But whenever I set my goal to 90 transactions and I hit it, I didn't hit it. I hit 78. It's okay. I didn't hit it, but dude, 78 is amazing. You know what I'm saying? And so, setting goals that are bigger than what you set, goals that scare you, because at the end of the day, you have to have something to motivate you.
Yep.
Or else you're just going to get stagnant. And a lot of times, believe it or not, throughout the year, I'll get stagnant. I'll get stagnant with, like December. I had 13 or 14 closings for the month of December.
Not bad.
So what I did was I got stagnant during the holidays, and guess what? Right now I'm paying for it.
Oh yeah.
But hey, it's okay. My phone's starting to ring last week. I got some showings going on this week. I'm building momentum. And that's what it takes. But the human nature, that's what they do. Back to Coach Burt, when you follow his principles, that prey drive, he tries to keep it going, and you have to reactivate it every single day, because eventually you will get complacent on yourself.
You will. And you just talked about goals. I'm a big goal setter too. And so I run a big team here, and I had a goal for us of 100 million last year. We didn't hit it. We hit 75. And so for me, like, I want you to read this book, The Gap and the Gain. If you haven't read it yet, you need to. So high achievers like us, when we don't hit that number, like in my mind, I was fixated on 100. And so when we came up short of 100, I went into the gap. It's like, dang it, what could we have done differently? Why didn't we hit that 100? And I had to go back into the book. And it's like, Yeah, but that's okay. Like you should be grateful that you did 75. Like that's the gain. You got to stay in the gain. And it says in this book, high achievers like us, we're the first ones that go into the gap because it's like, well, I was trying to hit that number. I'm focusing on that. And it's like if that's all you ever focus on is that, then you don't even reward yourself for these accomplishments. Like that was great that we did that. That was a huge thing. And so I like apologize to my team. Everything. I was like, I'm super sorry that I didn't acknowledge that the way I should because that shame on me, you know? And I think that with us, that when we're working and towards these big, huge goals and changing lives and making a difference, I think that self check and again, like we self check each other and that accountability speaks volume. And that's one of the greatest things about EXP, I believe.
And it's so crazy that you just spoke about that because a couple hours ago this morning I try to listen to something motivational, inspiring every single day.
Yep.
And today, ironically, I listened to John Maxwell's new podcast. It's amazing. I'll send you the link. And what he
Okay.
talks about is growth versus goals. You have to fall in love with the growth process, not just focused on the goal.
Mm,
It's good. The way he explains it, I'll send it to you. It's amazing.
send it to me.
Very, very good.
I think with people, like I was in our event, we did an event last week. Blake was there, Coach Burt was there. He was our headliner. And we believe that, like I believe everyone needs a coach. Like I tell everybody, you got to pay attention to who you're paying attention to. Just like Blake said, there's so many people out there that say they're real estate coaches or they're life coaches, or some of them are fitness instructors. And it's like, you're overweight. How are you a fitness instructor? Like, I'm not going to take anything you say at face value because you're clearly not practicing what you preach. Same thing in real estate, same thing in life. And so I'm super picky about who I pay attention to. But when I came across Coach Burt, I was like, he speaks to your soul. I mean, you can't help but not learn from him. And when you look at Blake and what Blake's done and all these numbers, I mean, he's only just begun. He's only 4 years in. I can't imagine what it's going to look like at 10 years.
I'm very excited, man. I'm very humbled by the numbers, just looking back how far I've come, in a short period, because I see a lot of people that's been in the game for 10, 20 years that I'm finishing above, in the rankings for the yearly totals. And it's just truly humbling because, it just lets me know that, for one, I found my calling. Number two, I have a passion for it. And, I know my potential is worth a lot more. Like my old broker, the brokerage that I was at before this, he's the broker itself. He's the number one realtor in our market. Like he's a beast. He sells 250 houses a year, 50 million by himself. He has one assistant. And I'll never forget this. One time, when I did the 52 transactions and I had like 10 million in sales, he called me in his office in December of last year, reevaluated me, kind of gave me a little yearly evaluation. And he told me, he said, Blake, you're on your third year. You're doing these numbers. He said, you in a couple of years are going to be $15 to $20 million producer. You're doing everything right. It's just the timing. You're on year 3, but in year 5 and 6, most of these people that you sold a house to, that you did such good service for, they're going to call you back to list their house and buy a house. So he said, it's just be patient, continue doing what you're doing, and it's going to happen.
So Coach Burt's fanatical about follow-up, as you know. How important do you think follow-up is in our business? And explain a little bit of yours.
I think it's probably one of the biggest parts of our business, honestly, because, you got to realize a lot of people want to buy a house, but at the specific moment, they're not able to buy a house, whether they're whatever situation they're going through, credit score, divorce, job, whatever. And so if you talk to these people and give up on them, eventually they're gonna buy a house and they're not gonna use you because they didn't forgot about you. But if you put them in some kind of drip campaign or a weekly newsletter, or if you're good at following up because you have your own little thing, which I use my notebook a lot. That works for me. You got to find out what works for you, but you got to follow up, man. Follow up is a very big part of my success because, I can look at my numbers right now and I can show you my referrals that I got in business last year. And I got probably half of my transactions came from referrals,
Which is
because it's used, but it's there's been people that I didn't give up on,
Yeah.
and they see that and they appreciate that.
So are you doing lead gen as well? Let's talk about that.
I do. So last year, I was running two systems. I was actually running three systems. I was running
Okay.
Ylopo, I was doing Zillow, and I was doing Facebook funnels.
Okay.
And this year, beginning of last year, first half, Zillow was very good to me. Second half, it was horrible,
Hmm.
like horrible. And
Heard that a
so
lot.
I called up a lot of producers in our market, and they're saying all the same thing. So
Yep.
what I did was I cut my spinach basically in three quarters. And then now I'm focused more on social media marketing, Google Ads. I cut Ylopo off entirely because it's really the same thing that we could do with KB Core, and it'll save me possibly $1,200 a month.
Oh yeah.
So mainly this year, I'm gonna focus on trying to get listings, newsletters, funnels, um, and then I'm sure as the year goes on, I'll get creative and do other things too. A lot of videos too. This year, I want to try to do a lot of videos. Um, I'm gonna try to do. Um, I'm gonna try one video per week, kind of
At
like what you're
least,
doing.
like,
No doubt, no doubt. Interviewing agents like we're doing right now.
yeah.
There's a lot of realtors in the world that I'm inspired by, and I want to kind of know their stories as well. And I think it'll help other people in my market or in other markets to really believe in themselves that they can do it just like us, because we're no different than them. We just put in the work.
Mhm. You got to be able to do the work and not afraid to do the work. And I did a market report video this morning. Actually, it went out earlier. And like I was telling them in this video, like our listing inventory on a national level is critically low right now. And if that doesn't freak people out, it should, because when you think of a real estate transaction, like you in the real estate industry, me in the real estate industry, it's up to us to keep this economy. We play a huge role in the economy rolling. Like every time we do a transaction, there's 26 different industries that are affected by it. Maybe not all 26 in each transaction, but when you go down the line, there's lenders, there's title companies, there's us, there's movers, there's painters. You just name them all. There's 26 of them. So when homes aren't selling or there are no homes to sell, and not only is it us that are hurting, it's a lot of industries. So now it's like a great time to sell. People need to get out of that fear factory and be like, okay, look, if you want to capitalize on the equity of your house, you need to get your house on the market now. You need to talk to an expert like us. We're going to make sure that we get you top dollar, the maximum that you're going to get right now. And then we're going to help guide you on what to do with that. And I think the more that we as leaders get out there and put this message out there to the public, look, you want to sell your house? We need to talk like now. You got no inventory. You're going to get maximum amount of money for your house right now. Let's have a conversation about this. And I think it's imperative that we do that. I also believe that we're with the best group ever in real estate, hands down. And
Hands
that if
down.
you are a real estate agent and you're not with somebody like us and you don't have this kind of a group, then you need to get with us, because I'm going to tell you something. We are making a difference in the lives of others. We collaborate. Like Blake's in Louisiana. I don't never see him. He just showed up at our event last week, but we have the same circle that we run in, and we're all out to make a difference in the world. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about EXP completely.
And I think, just to kind of piggyback on what you just said, whenever I was at EXP my first go around, one of the main reasons why I left was because I felt like I was on an island.
Mhm.
And it was nothing to do with EXP. It's just I didn't have great mentors, and I wasn't surrounded by people that was willing to help me grow.
Yep.
And then whenever I did my homework and I figured out, okay, well, I heard of this guy named Michael Reese, Jay Kinder, and then I did my homework and I linked up with them and I made a call and I realized, I'm like, they're here to help me. And that's the organization that Trisha speaks about, is that,
Yep.
we're all here to help one another and collaborate, and there's no competition between us. We all want to see each other grow. And I think most brokerages aren't like that.
They're not. I've been in all of them. Before I opened my own, I've worked at every big box company out there. Most of them are laughable. Here's a story. I'll piggyback off what Blake just said. There's a lady that just joined our team. She onboarded yesterday. I'm not her sponsor. I didn't know anything about her joining EXP. She joined EXP here in Houston. I believe it was in August of 2021. She got hooked up with some group. I'm not going to say their name, here in Houston. This group, I've looked them up. They've done no transactions. They have probably 10 agents now in their group, no support. And I asked her, are they training you? Were you guys doing anything? Nothing. All they did was go to happy hours together. That was their like sales meeting. They meet for a happy hour, and she'd be like, "Am I going to get trained on how to talk to people and how to do contracts and how to do anything?" They're like, "Oh yeah, that's gonna come." Never did. Here she is now. It's January. She feels totally lost. We took her in under our wing yesterday, but it's like that crap's happening all the time out there. People are like, "Here, come here and join our group. I'll help you." They don't. It's like, look people up, you guys. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Like
I,
she
I
was
think
going
that
nowhere with them.
I think a lot of people make that mistake. They get blown away by the perception of people or illusion of people, um, and they don't do their homework.
Nope.
You got to do your homework. You got to look up people. You got to ask them the correct questions. You want to see what their proven systems are, who they are, who they know, what they've done. Not just saying, I could tell anybody I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, but if I have no proven strategies or credibility, why would you even believe me? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And like I told her, like I was irritated by the story because it's like if this group is doing that to her, they're doing it to these other agents, and it's so unfair. And when you look
Yeah.
at the failure rate in real estate, it's between 87 and 91% fail in the
And
first
that's
2 years.
why.
This is why.
That's one of the main reasons for
Yeah.
sure.
Because you're not aligning yourself with people like us that want to like show this is what you have to do. Like in our office, we got training down to a science. It's like you go through 30 days of onboarding. It's like this is what you say, this is who you say it to, this is what you do, and this is what you do on day 10. It's like you have to have those things.
Yeah.
Blake is like got a proven system. He's killing it. Anybody that's in Louisiana or beyond, Blake's expanding everywhere. You guys got to hook up with people that are really going to help you. I want to ask you about your morning routine because I'm a big believer and I know you're disciplined too. Tell me what time you get up and what does your morning look like?
I usually get up about 6:30. I tried the whole 4:30 situation already. It just wasn't for me. I tried going to the gym. I work out every day, and it's my kind of my escape. But I'm usually in the gym. I'm usually waking up for between 6:30, eat some breakfast. If I have my little boys, I'll bring them to school, and then I go to the gym. I'm usually in the gym for 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then I'm usually there for about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and then I start my day. I start. I don't do much cold calling. I should, but I don't do much cold calling, but I should. However,
Have
I
you
do
ever?
start my day. I have the first year,
Okay.
and I found different systems that got me a lot more better results. Um, but I do believe, like Coach Burke says, everybody should be cold calling at least 2 hours a day. It's hard, it's tough, it sucks because you hear a lot of no's, but I know that the end result it could make. I think if I would have cold called my 78, I would have hit my goal at 90 last year, no doubt. Um, it's one of those things I need to be a little bit more disciplined too. But what I have going for me is working, and
Yep.
I'm not a finished piece, a finished puzzle yet. I'm still a work in progress, but I'm on the way up for sure.
I think, like Michael Reese says, we always have to stay in learner mode. I think the people that old school it out there, the people that have done the same amount of transactions, and when you look at their numbers, like I'm not knocking anybody if they're comfortable living that lifestyle. That's fine and dandy. But when you look at their numbers, they're the same every year. It's 6, 8, 8, 10 houses every year, and I don't know. I believe, and I'm always forward thinking. I believe that gap between the haves and the have-nots is huge right now, and it's just going to get bigger. And I believe people like us that are never satisfied and they just want to keep doing more. We got to do more. And it's not about doing more, it's about helping more people because
Yeah.
really we're making a difference and we're helping agents not be in that failure rate and we're helping buyers and sellers get treated right and not be taken advantage of. And when you have that mindset that you're actually an asset and you're helping people, it's a whole different mentality. And I believe those individual agents that are out there just kind of floundering along with 6 and 8 and 10 sales per year, I think they're going to be gone in a couple of years. Just kind of like Amazon shut down the little mom and pops. I think we're going to do the same thing.
I think that's going to happen this year, honestly. Um,
Ooh,
with the market the way it is, and I think the interest rates will probably go up about 1% this year, from what I've kind of did my research on and talked about. And the inventory in my market is still low too, so it's going to take uh, not necessarily a very talented realtor, but a realtor that does follow up, that is willing to take risk and is kind of a little bit aggressive, but
Yeah.
not too aggressive to upset the client or take advantage of the client. Like for instance, there was I can think the last 2 or 3 listings that I took, the lady wanted to get 230,000. I looked at the market. I said, look, I think you're leaving some money on the table. Let's try 240. I got 240 the first day. So
Yep.
what do you think that showed her? She hired
Fortunate
she hired the
karma.
right person. She
Yeah.
had the right person. She got, and I paid for myself.
Absolutely.
So it allowed her to net more. So who you think she's going to talk to? She's going to tell all of her friends about me,
Yep.
and that's where your referrals come from.
It is, and that's how you grow your business, and that's how you scale your business. So let's talk about events. So like I just said, like here in Houston, we have launched Takeover Texas, and so our goal, I go to events all the time. Unfortunately, a lot of, or your average agent, in my opinion, doesn't attend any events. Sometimes they'll do some free virtual one, but if you pay attention to them, and if you're in the room when you're watching people on a virtual event, half the time they're on their phones, half the time they're not even paying attention to the speaker. And it's like, if you're going to actually engage in someone and retain something from it, I don't know about you, but I actually got to be paying attention to them, looking at them, like no distractions. And so I go to events in person. I don't like the virtual stuff. I
So
don't get as much from it. And so we go to almost every event because every time you're around high achievers and people that are doing more, then you're going to level up. You're going to want to do more. You're going to walk away from there and you're going to learn something. And so I think more people need to be going to events to take them to the next level. So we are launching, we just launched our first event last week, or this week actually. No, last week. It was the 13th. And so that was a great event. They're stacked for the rest of the year. We know where we're going. We know what the dates are, and we're going to announce all of that stuff later. Blake is launching stuff in Louisiana. Let's talk about that a little bit, Blake.
So ironically, it's crazy because we never planned this. You and I together, we never spoke about it. Woods and I had a chat about doing events, and I was thinking to myself, okay, that's part of what the whole point is to help others grow, to help, like, that's a big goal that I have in 2022 is to help other realtors, help anybody that needs help. I just want to help people.
Yep.
And what better way to help realtors get out of debt or tough situations by making more money?
Yeah.
And so I teamed up with this other realtor here in my market, and we are in the process of putting down some dates and locations on doing basically the same scenario and the same thing that you did last Thursday. I think it was one of the main reasons why I went there was kind of just to see how you did them, or how you guys planned it out, and I think y'all did an amazing job. I think it was awesome. I don't know what better way you could have added any value to the realtor. So anybody that's watching this, make sure you go to any of or all of Trisha's upcoming events, because I got a lot out of it, and I try to make as many as I can too. So that's what we're doing. We don't have any dates set yet. We want to try to do one a quarter, but it is in the making of starting probably Marchish, maybe another month and a half. We'll do one and try to hit it out the park like you guys did, and continue doing more.
And I think when you do that, number one, you're giving back and it helps so many people. But like for me, when I was in like elementary and junior high and stuff, I never wanted to be up. Whenever it was time to like read a story in front of the classroom or something, I'd be like, no, I'd pretend I was sick. I would go to the nurse's office. I'd do anything I could to not be in front of people talking. So to be able to do that now, it's crazy. It's like
I know,
God
right?
puts us in places and in uncomfortable situations to strengthen us, to help us grow.
I couldn't agree. I mean, I could agree with you 100%. I was thinking about that as you were talking on stage. I was like, that's going to be me. I got to do that one day, and I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited to do things that I'm uncomfortable doing. It's the only way you're going to grow. And at the end of the day, everybody's the same as you. We all make mistakes. We all stutter sometimes if we get stuck. And so just going out there and being real and raw is people appreciate that. And I think that has a lot of success with my business in real estate, is because I'm real with my client. I don't tell them what they want to hear. I tell them what they have to hear.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they appreciate that a lot more. And I think that it keeps the business coming.
I love it. So Blake, tell everybody how they can find you. If they want to learn more about you or learn more about your events, where do they go?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, Blake Weaver Team. I'm on Instagram, the Blake Weaver _
Love that.
and I do have a YouTube video. I'm just it's not quite established yet, but it's the Blake Weaver Team as well. And my number is 337-303-6933. Or you can email me at blake@blakeweaverteam.com.
You guys, Blake's got it going on. He's part of our organization. We're all within EXP. That is one of our greatest things, is the collaboration and what we do. We believe we're better together in all aspects. And so if you want to learn more about our events or where to go for any of our upcoming events or tickets or register for the recording from the last event, you can find us at bettertogetherlive.com. Go there, be a subscriber. You'll get notifications about all our upcoming events. And just believe this, the real estate industry is hard. You got to pay attention to who you're paying attention to. Stay engaged with us. Become one of us in the Honey Badger group with EXP, and we promise we'll take you places you've never been. Right, Blake?
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yep. You guys have an awesome day.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, y'all.